Hi, I'm Joanne Lema, and I'm the founder of After50Living.com. And as many of you already may know, we are absolutely delighted to bring you the tips and tricks for everyday living that make these years your absolutely the most best years ever, the most valuable years ever, because it all matters. And in keeping with our series of tips and tricks, we're happy to bring you today Joseph Wood, who's the owner of Boston Standard Company of Boston, Massachusetts. They're local experts for all things plumbing, heating, cooling, all that infrastructure stuff that keeps us ticking. And they take their tagline seriously. That tagline: we're happy to be the company you can count on. So we're so delighted to have him here. They're a master plumbing outfit, and as I said, they're based in Boston. And not only that, but they've been awarded the Best of Boston from Boston Magazine, and they've received Angie's List Super Service Award every year for the last 8 years. That's pretty impressive. They've also been featured in Boston Magazine and in the Boston Globe and in the Boston Herald and on Fox News. Welcome, Joseph. It's nice to meet you.
Thank you for having me. Nice to meet you as well. Thanks for having me on the
So, I'm in the midst of a renovation, so I'm not gonna ask you tips and tricks,
I'm here to
on
help.
this, but I really do appreciate everything you do. And so, but one of the things that I've noticed, Joseph, is that it really, it's a changing world.
It
It
is.
seems like over the last 10 years or so, energy and energy expenditure has become a very complex issue.
I agree.
Uh, about back when I turned 55, I became actively involved in my parents' life and started seeing things like their energy bills and stuff like that. And things were pretty steady and constant then. But now recently things are a little different. So we hear terms like smart thermostat, greenhouse effects. I know my kids, my son-in-law has just installed all smart thermostats in the house and stuff, and the greenhouse effects. And frankly, those of us who are over 50 are just left scratching our head. We all want the earth to be a better place for our grandkids, but fundamentally, we all just want to be comfortable.
Yeah.
So could you share with us, what is a smart thermostat? I want to look like I know what I'm talking about when I'm sitting over the table with my son-in-law. What is a smart thermostat?
Yeah, they're a product that I think is becoming the norm now, and the expectation, smart thermostats, almost all of them are Wi-Fi connected, so you can run them from your phone. And the
Ah,
main thing that they offer is that they kind of learn your behaviors. And you have the popular one like the Nest, for instance, and the Nest, it has a proximity sensor, and if it does not detect anyone within range of where the thermostat is, it can kick back automatically. Honeywell has a
wow.
product. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Honeywell has a product called the Lyric, and it actually uses your smartphone to detect where you are. And if you exit a fence that you set up, say 5 miles from your home, it will kick
Uh-huh.
back the temperature automatically and adjust it back when you return into this fence. And the part about it that I think makes it smart is that they are all automatic. You don't have to do anything because the Department of Energy actually stripped the Energy Star rating from a lot of the older programmable thermostats because they were so difficult for people to adjust.
Oh,
So smart
I am
thermostat,
so delighted to hear that other people were having trouble with.
yeah. After the installer set the programming, homeowners they couldn't change daylight savings. They couldn't figure out anything.
Right.
It was not what it was designed to be. So new smart thermostats are quite a bit smarter, in my opinion.
So who do you get to install them other than your son-in-law? Who do
Yeah.
you get? I mean, actually, that's kind of an interesting question. Do you need someone who's a pro to install them? Or should someone like me who's after 50 and, frankly, I struggle with the thermostat I have now. Do I need a pro to come in and do this?
The design of them is that they are pretty intuitive. Using Nest as an example again, because they're probably the most popular brand out there. They even include a little screwdriver and a template and screws inside the container. So it's definitely something, yeah, it's something that the DIY crowd can tackle. And it depends, some people change their battery and change their oil and some people don't.
Right.
It depends on which end of the spectrum you lie, but it's definitely something that can be done by a homeowner. And if within that comfort range, great. If not, it's something a HVAC technician or electrician would be your next best bet. But also, I know my parents would call me for advice on setting up routers and things like that. If you have someone who's capable of doing that, they can probably tackle this for you in most instances.
That's great. That's great. So now I can bribe the son-in-law with his favorite Sunday dinner and say to him, "Oops, it's going to be about a half an hour late. So
Yes.
go, here's this new thing I just bought. See what you can do with it, Brian."
Exactly. Yep,
Good. Brian, if you're watching, you heard it from Joe. So there we go.
Agree.
So, I was speaking with people in the Carolinas this morning, and they were saying that the temperature there now, this is, beginning of summer, and they're saying the temperature there now is very, very hot.
Yeah, it is.
So I'm kind of wondering, for some of us, this After 50 living is a nationwide site. We have people who are in the southern part of the country, people who are in the mid-Atlantic, Midwest, and people in the northern tiers. And I'm kind of wondering, though, all of us are concerned about utility bills.
Yeah.
Do you have any tips or simple things that we can do to reduce our cooling bills? As we age, Joe, I just wanted to share with you that our personal temperature regulating mechanism kind of goes a little, is a little different. So we feel things more intensely. So we, but the cost of it is a struggle. Any tips you have for reducing those cooling bills?
Yes, I think that the most important thing I could recommend would be one of the smart thermostats as a frontline offense against high bills, because using a thermostat effectively is probably half the battle, in my opinion. And with that, it's smart usage, really, because referring to that old Department of Energy stuff, they used to have the thermostat set back by 8 degrees, but a lot of modern equipment does better when you just kind of let it be. And I recommend that you do not stray the temperature by more than maybe 5 degrees on warm days, and sometimes even less. If we know we're getting into those like 95-degree days, I probably wouldn't stray the temperature much more than a few degrees, because the time it takes for your system to get back up to speed may actually consume more energy. So that's a bit of information on the thermostat side of things. But regarding the home itself and your equipment, it's always a good idea to do a tune-up, of course. Make sure your equipment is running as it was designed to do. And if your equipment's reaching end of life, consider new stuff. But that's not on the easy end of the scale, in my opinion. Easy would be some blackout shades and drapes, because in the wintertime we lose heat, and in the summertime we gain it. And if you can mitigate the gain, that's a huge win. And you'd see sometimes in older homes they had awnings. And that may not fit the decor, but heavy drapes, that's the old school form of air conditioning across Europe from years ago, high ceilings and stopping the sun. So those are a couple of steps that I would suggest anyone consider, because if you can manage the infiltration of warm air, that will be a great help.
Awesome. Great idea. And, as we sadly move out of summer into the snow season, I'm wondering if there are any simple things that you can think of that we should be thinking of now to, reduce those heating bills.
This ties into cooling, and I made myself a little checklist here just to make sure I didn't forget anything, and I did already, of course. But insulation is one of the first things that should be examined as well. And we're in Massachusetts, where they have a lot of efficiency programs, but around the country they do as well. It's worth checking with your local energy providers, because a lot of the utility companies, like the gas company and the electric companies, they're actually tasked with reducing demand on the grid. And part of the way they do that is they pay for insulation. And insulation is it's better than air conditioning, frankly. It's better than heating. And I'm a person who, we offer both of those services. But if you insulate your home, that insulation works every day, all day. It doesn't break and it doesn't need maintenance. So
Wow.
we call that, the whole kind of the structure of your home, that's the thermal boundary. And if you can tighten that up and stop losing so much, warmth in the winter and gaining so much heat in the summertime, those are things that can make a dramatic impact to your energy costs.
Marvelous.
About that.
Great ideas. Hey, Joseph, it's been marvelous talking with you today. Thank you so much for these tips and tricks. Little things that make such a difference, including, let's think about that insulation. Thanks so much, Joseph.